Zelite, thank you for your love and support. I appreciate it all. The shadow of the Kigaru forest have kept secrets for a very long time. But on July 15, 2026, those secrets were shattered in seconds. For months, this dense woodland in the Bugoni region of southern Mali was a quite growing threat. It was a place where the TT could regroup, hide their equipment, and plan attacks away from the heavily monitored north. By letting the Kigoro forest become a permanent safe haven was a risk the Malian military could not take. So they have to do something. If those groups secured a base here, they could easily strike southern territories and cut off the supply route to Bamako. On ORTM-7, the operation did not start with airstrikes. It started with weeks of quite careful intelligence work. The Malian Armed Forces, known as FAMA, worked with their partners to map the forest. TT are careful. They move on lightweight motorcycles, avoid satellite phones, and hide under the trees, but they still leave a footprint. They need fuel, food, and water. By tracking these lines and using surveillance drones, intelligence teams map the hideout. This was not a temporary camp. It was a major logistic hub with weapons, fuel, and command quarters. Once the operation was confirmed, the military acted fast. On July 15th, the FAMA sent in their air vectors, which means strike drones and attack helicopters. Drones have changed this war. They can watch a target for hours and strike with high precision, avoiding civilian areas. In a thick forest like Kigoro, a ground attack is a trap. An airstrike was the safest way to destroy the base. Secondary explosion tore through the camp, destroying the base and leaving the survivors with nothing. The survivors scrambled onto their remaining motorcycles and fled northeast towards the village of Dumba, near the mining town of Morila. This is a highly strategic area because of the gold mines. If the TT reached Dumba, they could hide among the civilians and disappear. But the drones kept terminal cameras locked on them. The pursuit was relentless. Just outside the village of Dumba, the air vectors and ground units cornered and neutralized the remaining fighters. For long, we are told we cannot do anything for ourselves. When the operation ended, the military reported the results. Numerous TT were neutralized and 10 bodies were formally identified. The Kigoro base and its entire logistic setup were completely destroyed. Ground forces also recovered 3 working combat motorcycles and military gear. In this region, taking away their motorcycles ruined their ability to launch fast hit-and-run attacks.
News from our farmer. The General Staff of the Armed Forces informs the national opinion that as part of the ongoing operations for surveillance, control, and securing of the national territory, the Malian Armed Forces, supported by their partners, have detected a significant terrorist hideout in the Kekoro Forest, Buguni region. After confirming the intelligence, several precision airstrikes were carried out against this target. After the provisional report indicates numerous terrorists neutralized, as well as the complete destruction of the infrastructure and enemy logistical means. Terrorists who attempted to flee were then pursued and neutralized near the village of Domba, close to Morila. About 10 bodies have been formally identified. Enemy equipment was destroyed and 3 motorcycles were recovered. The mopping up operations continue to consolidate the results and maintain pressure on the remaining fleeing elements. The General Staff of the Armed Forces reaffirms the determination of the Malian Armed Forces to continue security operations throughout the national territory and thanks the population for their support.
Mopping up operations are still going on in the forest. Soldiers are searching the ruins of body trap, documents, and any remaining fighters hiding in the bush. The goal is to keep the pressure on so they cannot rebuild. This strike shows that the farmer can strike deep into the enemy territory with high precision. This is massive. The African can take care of his or her own affairs. For decades, we sit here for people to come into the continent to give us protection because we are told that we are not capable of taking care of our own affairs. And in the guise of this military assistance or security, our resources keep moving. And what do we see at the end of the day? The TT only grew and there was none that was neutralized. This has been the story that they gave to us, and this has been the reason to which we have our resources here. The resources can never be used to protect us. But now we are seeing a different dimension ever since our all-in-alls decided to kick these people out and take control over our own security. Like when this thing was happening, Iran told these Arab countries that foreign bases can never be a shield. They only bring you problems because when everything becomes hot, they will run and leave you. And this is the same thing we are seeing in the Sahel states. They have been there for over a decade, but we never saw anything changing. They only grew and became more powerful because the kind of things that our leaders are allowed to give to the military aren't helpful. Yet at the end of the day, these TT have things that are more advanced than what our military were having. So it is not that the military of Africa can never defend us, but it's because they lack the necessary thing they need to use to protect or defend us. And we see the TT always having the power over them. But look at just some few years that these military leaders came into office, decided to get the necessary thing that we need to protect ourselves. How can we, the people who fought for people in World War II, save them in World War II, now be the ones that need them to come and protect us? And we never saw African Union coming out with a statement asking them to leave because ever since they came, things haven't changed. But we have the same African Union going after our leaders, asking them to give way to democratic rule. Look at the good things that they are doing, securing the borders, saving the people. Is it that you are only interested in the democracy without thinking about the well-being of the people? If you are thinking about us, why then won't you be so proud of what Mali is doing, what Niger is doing, what Burkina Faso is doing? This TT became more powerful and we do not even have peace. Yet these leaders are showing the world to the point that they told us that they couldn't survive for 2 weeks. They told us the government would collapse, yet they are still standing firm. Yet they are neutralizing them. You are seeing the videos everywhere. Yet when the people who claim they are in Africa to save us were there, we never saw this. Is it that the African is looking for freedom to take care of his or her own affairs? Like Dr. Kwame Nkrumah said, we are capable. Or we are just interested in being under oppression so that people still dictate the life and everything of the African. Look at what Farmer has done. For decades, people who say they have high tech, they have whatever, could not do what they are doing. Look at the coordinated attack that happened to the point that we lost the defense minister. Yet, Mali stood firm, defended. That is why our all-in-all General Assembly has to take the defense position just to make sure that Mali stands firm. Thinking that taking him out was going to weaken them brought more victory to us. Yet African Union is not celebrating. The other African leaders are not celebrating. All that they are interested in is democracy. No wonder Africa is where it is. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make Africa great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world in Africa, West Africa, and in Mali.